everybody? This is your boy Black Magus, and really quick, we're going to go over the Game Awards 2024 winners. Um, so I did get a chance to watch the show, even though I think I missed maybe first half an hour, first hour, depending on how you wanted to say it, because of they always do the pre-show thing, and you know he tries to make it a really huge, big event with the pre-show, and then doing some of the awards before, then getting to the awards. Maybe because I missed part of it, it didn't feel as long as it normally does to me. I want to say that it didn't end until after 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure, but it just seemed a lot more compact. So maybe they're working better. Let me know if you watched from the beginning with the pre-show and everything, how it felt to you, how it flowed. It just felt a little bit shorter to me. Of course, there were moments where I kind of checked out and just listened in the background because they were meandering, but it felt a little tighter than normal. Um, Now, I'm just going to do the winners really quick, and then I'll come back and I'll talk about the trailers. Because again, I missed part of it, so I want to go back and I want to go through the trailers and see all the stuff that I missed before I speak on like what stood out to me and what I thought was the best. So, all right, here we go. So, best, and I'm going backwards on their website to make sure that I cover them all. There's way too many awards, and they don't need to have all these awards. But so you had best esport team, T1. Sorry, don't play League of Legends, so that didn't really do anything to move me. Of course, the best esport player, Faker. Congrats to him. Moving along. Best esports game, League of Legends. So makes sense. League of Legends would have the best team for, I guess, the best esport. And it's funny because there was a point where Overwatch would have been over on this list, but I heard horrible things about Overwatch 2, which I haven't played, and kind of glad I didn't play. Curious to know what were the big changes that turned people off that game. Maybe I should pick it up just to see. Content Creator of the Year. I don't know if it's what's pronounced Casio or Queso. But he's the Creator of the Year. Honestly, I recognize none of the people on the list this year, so it didn't do anything for me. But good for these guys for being nominated, and good for him for winning. Most anticipated game, one of the stupidest awards in the world. You're voting on the game that you're most anticipated. Grand Theft Auto 6-1, which is fine. For me, it probably would have been Ghost of Yatai. I feel like Death Stranding 2 was put on there as a favor to Kojima because he needed to, you know, swear his fealty to his beloved Kojima. Whatever. Again, useless award, to be quite honest. Best adaptation. Now, this was interesting because you had a year in, content for gaming outside of, games itself that were really, really strong. You know, Arcane, which people are, I've been told the ending of the series has people crying. Like, shout out to my boy Cardiac who talks about shedding tears over this shit. Like it seems to really impact people. Fallout Knuckles, which I heard wasn't all that, but was watchable. Same thing with Like a Dragon Yakuza, and I heard the Tomb Raider: The Legends of Lara Croft is really good. I need to get back on my binge watching game. I have not had any time to binge watch some shows that people came back and told me that were good, but I really need to get on that. But anyway, Fallout won that, and it is amazingly produced, put together. I would not have expected what from what I saw of the trailers, I was like, "Yo, this looks like it's gonna be good, so it should be solid." But it well exceeded what the trailers made it look like. Like it deserves this award. Um, it's this was definitely a year where there was a lot of things that were very much um, worth pointing out, and I think as the future comes along, it's gonna be just a lot more because you're gonna get, especially with Amazon putting the money and the care into the stuff they do. Like when they come out with their other stuff, it's yeah, and then another season of Fallout's coming. We maybe now like with comic book movies, we're turning the page on adaptations of video games now. With stuff like Fallout, The Last of Us, Arcane. Which is pretty good. I'm pretty happy to see that. Definitely happy to see that. Best multiplayer, Helldivers 2. That game just even with the troubles that it had, that game was a phenomenon, and I should have muted my phone before I started recording. Sorry, but yeah, definitely deserves it. Although I hear Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 is pretty solid as well. So yeah, I don't know what Call of Duty just be thrown on to list just to be thrown on because it's Call of Duty, right? Anyway, best sports racing game, EA Sports FC 25. I mean, not that many sports games out now that's going to change, like be revolutionary or really stand out. You're just picking the best of was what's out. The newest iteration, I should say, of what's already been around for a while. Best sim strategy, Frostpunk 2. I need to play that. I play so much Frostpunk um, that I forgot that Frostpunk 2 came out, and I need to get that. I need to really, really play that because I enjoy Frostpunk. Frostpunk is a solid game, and hopefully Frostpunk 2 is, just an improvement on a really good game. Best family, Astrobot. I don't need to, you know, go going on that. Best fighting game, Tekken 8. Funny because I don't feel like a lot super came out this year fighting anyway. In fact, I almost forgot that Tekken 8 came out this year. I thought it came out last year. Best RPG, Metaphor, ReFantazio, something I really want to play. I've heard great things about that game, so definitely got to uh, check that out. Best Action Adventure, Astrobot. They have been making like solid demos for a long time that finally gave them a chance to make somewhat of a full game with the version of Astrobot that came with the PS5. And it seems like, being given the go to do a fully more fleshed out version, they still knocking out of the park. I'm curious to see what their next thing is, though. That's what I want to see. What's the next thing they're going to do outside of the Astrobots property? Because they're really solid on this, and maybe their thing is to do platformers, platform adventures. Whatever the next game, I'm very curious to see what it's going to be and how it does. Best action game, Black Myth Wukong. I loved how the guy got on stage and was like, "Look, our games really aren't that hard. It's not really a hard game." That was funny when he did that. But these games can be brutal. They be brutal. Best VR, AR, Batman Arkham Shadow. That doesn't surprise me because I've heard a lot of great things about that one. Um, and not so much about the others, even though there's name recognition here, like with Metro Awakening and Asgard's Wrath 2. Batman's Arkham Shadow was the one that I heard a lot of people claim about. And maybe we'll get to a point one day where the VR AR thing becomes a bigger deal than it is now. Like right now, it's still niche, very very niche. At least to me, that's how it seems. Best mobile game, Balatro. Very very interesting because we'll get back to that when we get to um, the last game, but I do want to try that out and see. Best debut indie game, Balatro. You know, so Balatro and Astrobot, kind of got pretty decent chunk of awards for their games because best independent game was Balatro, which what is best? Okay, so best debut indie, best independent game. Ain't that kind of the like? Okay, I, I don't understand why those are two different subjects. Somebody please, because normally this when a game is nominated for an award, unless it's like the best continuing ongoing game category, you don't necessarily see them go back to an older game, right? So if generally the best independent slash indie game is something new, what's the best debut thing for? Or I don't know. Y'all explain to me because maybe something on this list because Animal Well and UFO 50 I am not familiar with. Laura Lee and the Laser Eyes. I feel like it's recent, but maybe it is an older game. Like if any of those three games are games that actually came out a while back and it's just not not within this calendar year and are just getting their due, let me know because that's the only reason I could see you would have those two if you're allowed to go years back for I don't know. It just doesn't make no sense to me. Sorry. Best community support, Baldur's Gate 3. People love that game to death. I would have thought it would have been Helldivers, especially like how they've been able to kind of like you know corner in Sony a bit with some of their policies when it came to that game and things like that, and the outcry they had for cutting off members of the community, things like that. I would have thought that would have been it, but Baldur's Gate 3 makes sense too because people really love that game. Like, okay, best ongoing game, Helldivers 2. Which is kind of it. What's interesting to me is that they picked something recent. I feel like that should be something that that should have some time left to, like a game that's been out for a year or more, but still continues to do well. I think should be the criteria for that because Helldivers just came out, and again, I just said that I thought it was the best community support game and the way people treat it, and so I would have thought that would have been a natural for both of these awards to go to them, which also makes me wonder: do you need both of these awards? But anyway, hey, it's the Keighleys. That's what they do. Games for Impact. Never. Game's so emotional. Like, even from the trailer, I was like the emotion, like it's the game is beautiful. It's a very beautiful game. Um, yeah. Innovating in accessibility. Um, I I can't say like this award's not needed at all because I appreciate that they're you know recognizing game developers that go through the effort to make sure that the games are as inclusive as possible. The winner for that was Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Best performance, Melanie Juergens. Um, did she win? I feel like she won for the last one too, didn't she? So good on her. Um, yeah, good for her. I mean, she really does a good job of that character. That's for damn sure. Best audio design and Senua Saga Hellblade. Yeah, the creepy shit, the voices. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Best score and music. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Most Final Fantasy games to me can win this award any year they're put out. Um, Pretty sure Metaphor. I haven't played Metaphor Refantasia, but I'm pretty sure that would have won if there were no Final Fantasy game around because they do an amazing job with their soundtracks for all their RPGs. Best art direction, Metaphor Refantasio. That's another thing they do a great job of their art, the design, and their world, building their worlds, definitely. Although I feel like this was a really crazy strong year for best art direction. Um, between Astrobot, Black Myth, Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadows of the Earth Tree, Never, and Metaphor. Yeah, that was a really strong year. I mean, there's some very like beautiful and technically sound games out now. And again, it goes back to something I said about this is what we're going to start seeing more of, as opposed to graphical power, but this is like the technical nuances and the creativity and the life that is going to be able to be pumped into the worlds, as opposed to like you're buying a new console because of the frames and the you know just the graphical prowess. Best narrative, Metaphor Refantasio. Funny how there's been like there were a few games that won 2 or 3 awards this year. It's kind of weird because it's like certain games seem to be blocked out. Like Final Fantasy VII for Rebirth definitely got blocked out, and to an extent, like Senua Saga Hellblade 2. Although I did heard it wasn't necessarily as good as the first. But yeah, like it's a bunch of games that were nominated a lot and didn't really get much. Whereas you have this handful of games that also was nominated not and dominated those categories, like Astrobot, best game direction. That game pretty much just dominated this year. Like Astrobot, which is funny because I heard a lot of people talking about another game that was also up for Game of the Year that didn't win and only won in one particular type of category. Now that I think about it, so Astrobot won Game of the Year. Now I've heard a lot of people be upset that Balatro didn't win it. Um, I haven't heard too many rumblings about the Elden Ring thing, which I guess people were kind of just satisfied that the the DLC didn't win. I don't understand that blowback. DLC these days are not DLCs like we used to have. They're fucking full games. Like if you would have back in the day, say Grand Theft Auto 5 DLC, they would have each went up for an award, I would have been like, you know what? Yeah, because you're getting a good 10 to 20 hour experience nowadays out of just the DLC alone. So they're fucking full games. So yeah, I don't know why that was a big controversy, but it's crazy. I've heard people get upset about Balatro, and I think a lot of people wanted Balatro to win. Um, I guess because it would have been interesting to see another indie win. Like I feel like what was the indie game that won? I cannot think of its name, but there's been one or two indie games that are either won or came they were dominant at the awards over the years, and I feel like maybe that's why. I also feel like people have taken their addiction to this game, which is why I want to fucking try it because there seems to be a cult of people out there who are recruiting other cult members, and effectively so, to the banner of Balatro. Or is it Balatro? However you pronounce it. I don't know. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. Please correct me. But yeah, I was kind of surprised because of like it was never like a super forefront thing in the conversations that I've seen and had up until around now. But the conversation in this like time period surrounding the Game Awards, yeah, it really was getting a lot of push to me, and yeah, I'm I'm quite surprised it didn't win, but I'm even more surprised in a way that Astrobot won because for all the greatness that you hear showered on it, I could probably say you hear equal, if not more, praise for maybe a Metaphor or Elden Ring or Black Myth, you know. But it seems like Astrobot was just that game to them, and I'm just curious as to what you guys think and how you feel about that. Because yeah, I would love to hear opinions on that. But yeah, that was the Game Awards. We'll come back. We'll do another deep dive on the trailers, which means that I'll have an even longer video because I'm going to like probably point out um, more than enough videos to sit and talk about and have a comprehensive conversation about those trailers and what I think of them and what I'm looking forward to out of the mix. But yeah, that was the 2024 Keighleys Awards. The award show overall, it was an award show. Guys, again, I'm not huge on the award show thing, but hey, you know, I like to watch. So, yeah, that's about all I could say. I like to watch, They're entertaining to a point. If anything, just to see Jeff Keighleys lose his mind anytime he's in the presence of Hideo Kojima. Like, his man crush, I swear. Anyway, as always, you guys feel free to hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll hit you later. It's your boy Blak, Magus, and I'm out. Deuces.